Hello everybody, my name is Farmer Phil and today I'm going to be just talking about what to look out for when you're buying a second-hand tractor. I'm going to be using my 3690 as an example, after seeing as we were only after buying and some of the things just to look out for. But we'll get straight into it anyways. One of the first things you want to do when you are going to look at a tractor is ring up someone, get in contact with someone that either be a contractor or a dealer or whatever, to ask them about said tractor you're going to look at, so that they can tell you different things, what to look out for. You know, some tractors have, you know, different kinds of problems where this could be going or that. Normally, you know yourself, it's just one of the most vital things to do when you are going to look at a second-hand tractor that you're interested in buying. Ring up someone you know that has one, or ring up a garage or dealership or a brake or anyone really, that they can just point out a few things for you so that you can check things and see that everything is okay. It's probably one of the best bits of advice that can be given to any lad when you're going out to buy something. Even my father has went off a couple of times with different men when they were going off to look at 6290s and 6480s and the likes, where he went with them to give them advice, you know, checking out different bits of tractors, make sure everything is good. Like on this tractor, for example, for someone who doesn't know these tractors, if you were to put the PTO into gear, the PTO makes a fair bit of noise. It makes, my bird scare is going off. The PTO makes quite a bit of noise. It's very, very rattly. And for someone that wouldn't know these tractors and you hear that PTO, you could be, oh God, what's causing that rattle? It could be 101 different things. But because we've had these tractors before, the 3690 before, it was the exact same. I was actually, when I put a picture up on this on Instagram, I was chatting to Maritime Farmer. He also has a YouTube channel, you can check him out if you want. He is an Agco Alice tractor I didn't even know existed, but it's the exact same as this tractor, just with different bonnets, and it's the exact same engine, back end, the whole lot. And his is the exact same, and he was asking me about mine. It was my PTO rattly. And it is something with them tractors, and if for someone that didn't know the tractor, a rattly PTO and gear, you'd be thinking, Jesus, what's gone wrong here? Another thing with the, well, nearly in the 3000 series in general, the four-wheel drive shaft, when you're going on the road, it can be very clangy. It's to do with the collars and it can be very clangy on the road. And again, for someone that didn't know that that's what the tractors are like, and it's not really any harm, you'd be thinking, oh jeez, what could be wrong here? But that's why it's very important to get in touch with someone that has a tractor. It's probably the best piece of advice. When you're looking at tractors, then you want to look at everything. You want to check your dipstick. You want to see what the oil is like in it. You know, give it a wipe off. See that it's look if it's black or that. But really, you're checking the dipstick just to make sure that there's no filings. See, if you get filings on the dipstick, just leave it. Just walk away. You're in trouble there, so you are. The same on the back end then as well. One other things to tell what a tractor spent most of its life at, looking at the back end is probably one of the best ways of telling. Like, I can look at this tractor here and I can see by the lift arms here, there's not a lot of wear there. Like, there's still a little dimple in the bottom of that. Like, there's not a lot of wear, and it's the same on the other one. There's very little wear in the lift arms, which is a sign that it didn't do a lot of that. But then when we get down and we look at the hook, you can see it's well wore down. It's nearly on its last legs really. It's something that needs to be changed. You can see it's done a lot, it's drew a lot of stuff. And you can also tell by the back end on this, the hitch plate, so this isn't part of the back end, it's just the plate that goes onto it. You can see where it's all been welded and braced, so at some stage it must have cracked. And we can also see up here on the drop arms for it, you can see where there's been welding done here and where there's wear on the inside. So you can tell by looking at these things that this tractor, for most of its life, it was on heavy pulling. And it's things like that, that's how you know. So I know me lift arms and all that are good. Another thing, like, I can lift these up, these are free, easily free. Like on all our other tractors, we've nearly them all welded at some stage or another. But another thing, like, you can just tell by looking at them things what it's been at. And it's actually quite unusual to see this tractor been used more so on that than the lift arms, because these tractors were mostly used for the likes of big power harrows and big cultivation equipment and that. That's what they were mostly used for, but it was a heavy haulage at some stage of its life. Another thing as well, then when you come to look at the tractor first, it's not really a major thing. Oil on the engine, where's the oil coming from? There's a bit of oil on this engine, we pretty sure where it's coming from, the rocker cover gasket, but things like that, you want to get your tractor run, you want to listen to it, see here, listen to it running, give it a few revs, you know yourself, the usual owl crack. You want to check all your studs, just complete outside check, have a look at everything. And then when you get into the cab, I suppose the big one is push every button and see what's working and what's not working. So like when you get your tractor started, see all the buttons, are all the lights working, all the switches working, hit all your four-wheel drive shaft, your diff lock, maybe give it for a little bit of a forward back, check your brakes, literally everything that you can think of, check, see is it working, does any funny noises happen or any funny smells, especially in an older tractor like this. It's 25 years old now. Some of the wiring and that can become dodgy, so it is important that you do check all your switches and that, just to see that everything is okay. And then after that, based on what it is and whether you think there's anything wrong with it or does it need any work, then look at you just chat with whoever you're buying it off and you come to an arrangement on price. Or if you see anything that is a big no-no, filings on the dipstick in the back end or things like that, they're yokes you just want to walk away from. But I think that is really, I don't think there's anything else, but just the biggest bit of advice when you're going out to look at a second-hand tractor is get in contact with someone that knows the tractors. Just, yeah, it's one of the most important things I give as advice to anyone. Get in contact with someone that knows the tractors and you'll get any little tips or pointers. Like when we went down to look at this tractor, we were talking to a massive breaker, just see was there any way, anything that we could do just to check things out, and he told us a bit of advice. If we let down the lift arms fully and then lock the steering wheel and keep a bit of a pull on the steering wheel and then try and lift the lift arms, if she doesn't lift the lift arms, that's a sign that the back the pumps, the hydraulic pumps in her, are knackered. And if she lifts the lift arms, then the pumps are good in her. And that's just a little trick just to see how the pumps are. You can't like rip the tractor to look in, but you can do little things like that, especially when you talk to people that know bits of knowledge on things like that, and it's all to help. But anyways, that is it. I don't think there's anything else to say. I think I have all my bases covered, so I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this video was of some use to some of you that's looking at buying a second-hand tractor. I hope it helps some of you out, and that is really it from me. Caps, beanies, everything else that I either forget to mention or any of that is in the description down below, so just tick that little box and it'll bring you down to whatever else that you need to know. And that is it from me. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Any comments, hit me down in the comments down below. That is it from me. Good luck.